sometimes contextualize it.
Thank you for those words of welcome and introduction. My apology before I begin. It's been quite a hectic week. 3 functions in a week is just too much. Having late at night. But I had this decision to make, whether to attend to this AGM or to attend to another matter in another part of Fiji. I decided to come to. The reason being, because I know the importance and the value of my presence and guiding your roadmap so that you can formally recognize, especially to a particular body that is so critical and important in terms of addressing the issues facing vulnerable, not so much vulnerable, in fact, may I say, some are dealing with somewhere at the top hierarchy of government. Thank you, Father Singer. Father, I've always heard of you. What a coincidence to come and meet at this very important occasion. Yes, I can see familiar faces. Former DR from the Family Court of the Judicial Department, and of course, the wonderful lady from Lakemba. We happened to meet in December. Little did I know that we'll cross paths with a sister, twin sister, or older sister, a younger sister. Oh, much younger. Who is the acting Commissioner of Prisons. They come from a very, what may I say, from a renowned island of Lakemba, from the village of Tumbo. Lakemba, Lau. It's a deep history in Fiji, because that's where Christianity began in 1835. I had the good luxury of traveling to Tumbo on many occasions in my role as the magistrate to conduct trials. It's a blessed island, blessed village. I'm grateful to be here. Once again, thank you for the welcome, and good morning to you all. Before I begin, may I acknowledge the traditional owners of Suva, the people of Suva. A few years earlier, about more than 10 years ago, I traveled to Brisbane to attend a workshop. And I was touched when before we began, the officials actually acknowledged the traditional owners of the land. Although the land that we were in was a hotel in the middle of the city. There was a wind of change blowing through Australia, through court cases where the nation, there was, after reconciliation and a traditional apology from the Australian Prime Minister. And I think it's befitting as we move towards the 21st century to acknowledge the interface of democracy and of course of the communities that we live in. So I do acknowledge the traditional owners of Suva, people of Suva. As you understand, the first capital was in Levuka, Novalau, in the Lomaiviti, where I come from. And they shifted to Suva because of the growing civilization at that time. In doing so, the land and the resources, marine resources by the people of Suva, were taken up by government with less consultation. History has revealed that the people of Suva, in one way or another, and the surrounding villages, namely Tamavua and Ganaki, because of that forceful takeover of government, because of the less of acknowledgement and recognition of the traditional owners, it had a psychological effect directly on them. I do so in saying because I have some relations to the people of Tamavua. At one point, I won't mention the village, almost all the youths, they would end up in prison. I'm talking about 30, 40 years ago, probably 50 years ago. And this is common throughout Fiji. So my presence today is befitting. It's not rather looking at some carnage, we can also go deep and see. And it's important that it's so critical in terms of the formalization of your body. It is an honor to be here this morning to officiate the 4th annual general meeting of the Fiji Psychological Society. The society was launched in August 2019. And since then, has been actively involved in promoting ethical standards amongst professions in the field of psychology and raising awareness on the importance of mental health. Mental health is a basic human right and is a crucial part of our personal community and socio-economic development. The way we think, behave, and contribute valuably to our community is largely affected by our psychological well-being. And I again refer to what I've said earlier. It is great that there is an association in Fiji that exists for the purpose of promoting positive well-being and good practice in the psychology profession. One of the primary goals of the society is to work towards the registration and regulation of the profession in the country. There is a need for psychologists to be recognized as practitioners psychologists. And I believe that today's meeting will be to discuss opportunities for collaboration between government and the society, and also relevant key stakeholders on the pathway opportunity to achieve this. Effective collaboration is crucial as we recognize the urgency of having a registration process for psychologists. In order to have a licensing and registration, a national body must be recognized by government to license or to give accreditation and registration to psychologists. And I believe that the society is working towards being recognized as the national body. I know that as part of developing the profession, the society is looking to pursue registration. Currently, doctors and dentists are registered under the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act 2010. However, there is a lacuna. Basically, there is a space as far as legal registration of psychologists are concerned. In this regard, I urge the society to have discussions, consult each other, and then approach the Ministry of Health and Medical Services and the Minister for the purpose of establishing by law a council, a secretariat, and a registration process for psychologists. The Solicitor General's Office, under the Chambers of the Attorney General, is there to provide legal assistance to ministers. So once they receive official instructions from the Ministry of Health and Medical Services, the Solicitor General's Office can accommodate the legal registration of psychologist. The Minister of Health will also assist you, Society, in drafting a paper for submission to Cabinet. The paper will be first vetted by my office or the Solicitor General's office, and after approval from Cabinet, we can proceed with the legal amendments to the law. The legal amendments to the law can be in two forms. One is just by, after a Cabinet decision, the regulation is made, or a regulation is amended, or if it is in the substantive part of the law, after endorsement by Cabinet, then we will draft a bill or go for consultations. We can do two ways. Consultation can be done before Cabinet, then go to Parliament to amend the enabling legislation. Like I said, the legal recognition of the Fiji Psychological Society and the profession as a whole is a welcome initiative, and I urge you to continue on this momentum. With this note, I would like to thank you all for the work that you are doing in the profession and for the passion in the work that you do. I would also like to share my best wishes to you all for this meeting. May it have a fruitful outcome, and I look forward to working with the Society on how best the government can support in working towards the registration of practicing psychologists in the country. Pinagwalevu, and God bless you all.
We're really, really happy with what you've shared with us today in your address. It's been a long journey. For some of us, we've been on this journey for a very long time. To learn of the interest and the dedication and the commitment that you have said in your speech, and acknowledging the importance of having psychologists, social workers, counselors be registered to be able to carry out this important support that's offered not only to the judiciary, but to various arms of government as well as civil society. We're very, very hopeful. We look forward to the many opportunities that you will create to be in consultation with you, because this is new, it's important, but it is something that is long overdue. We thank you so much for your wisdom and your encouragement and your presence in being here today. We'd like to please show our appreciation in the usual manner, to also invite you for a photograph and to join us for tea so that you're able to know who is in the room today. Thank you so much.